So I experienced something a little bit weird in the gym today. I was contemplating going home in the middle of my workout, and I don't remember the last time I've done that or if I've ever done that. It was a really weird moment for me. I just found myself asking, why am I doing all of this right now? Why am I training so hard? I don't have a competition coming up. I don't have any specific goals right now. I don't need to be here. And I know I don't share a whole heck of a lot of my personal side of my training on YouTube. Instagram probably has a little bit more insight to that, but just to fill you all in, after my competition, my bodybuilding season, I've been focusing, so it's been about maybe 5 weeks now or so. Yeah, it's been about 5 weeks, maybe 7 by the time this video comes out. But during that time, I've been focusing on some other things with my training, trying to get good at, calisthenics. I've been following a program for that. And most recently, I've started doing some conventional deadlifts again. Conventional deadlifts really have no value to me building a better physique. They're more so just something for me to implement so I can get over my fear of doing conventional deadlifts. I've injured my back in the past. It was a pretty bad injury, and I really haven't taken the time to rebuild my conventional deadlifts, and there's been a psychological fear with doing them again. So I thought, let's challenge ourselves to overcome this fear. But today in the gym, like in the middle of my set, when I was doing these conventional deadlifts, I'm like, I don't need to be doing this right now. I don't need to be doing this right now. Like, why am I doing this if it's not going to add value to me having a better physique? And all that it's doing is creating this fear, not creating, but it's forcing me to revisit the fear that I have of injury and not wanting to go down that road again. For anybody who's ever had a back injury before, you know what I'm talking about. It is crippling, no pun intended. It is not fun mentally. A lot of people dealing with back injuries go through a really dark time. And after that, with my training, in this session in particular, I was doing some weighted pull-ups. Same thing. I'm like, why am I trying so hard right now? And it was a really weird question that was just constantly popping into my head throughout my entire workout. It was very interesting because I was at the gym when all this was happening, and I don't know, I do wear my heart on my sleeve so maybe people can read me, I don't know, or maybe just the gym community is so amazing. But one of the gym members just comes up to me and we just started talking about quieting the inner bitch, quieting that inner voice within us that is constantly trying to get us to take the easy way out. And I think I've gotten really good at quieting that voice to the point where I don't really hear it a whole heck of a lot. But I think with me not really having a goal, like a target that I'm focusing on right now, I kind of feel like I'm just throwing darts into thin air and there's no target in front of me. And I'm just doing all of these things and I don't know where these things are going. What am I trying to accomplish with the calisthenics training, with mastering the conventional deadlift, with improving my weighted pull-ups? And because I can't see that dartboard right now, it's just made me question what's the point. And maybe it's time to take it easy a little bit. You've been training hard for over 10 years and it's time to just relax a little bit. And that's that inner voice coming out a lot louder than what I am used to. And it was a very weird moment for me, and I'm glad I went through that because I think people deal with that quite frequently, more often than I even realize. I've really, like I said, have gotten good at not even hearing that voice. I don't recall the last time I have heard that voice. Maybe a couple moments here and there, but it was really fucking loud today. And I was this close to going home or just going to sit in the car because Kyle was there and just waiting till he was done. But I don't know, that individual, that member at the gym just came up to me at like the perfect moment and was just talking to me about quieting that inner voice. and I can't quite remember the wording of how he said it, but he said something along the lines of, it's a lot harder to quiet that voice versus listening to that voice telling you to do something. You know, that voice telling us like, oh, get out of bed, go to the gym. It is so much quieter than that voice yelling at you. Stay in bed right now. It's a lot more comfortable here. You don't need to go to the gym today. What's going to happen? What's the worst case scenario? And actually answer that question for yourself. If you do skip the gym, what is the worst case scenario? Are you going to lose all of your progress? Logically, no. Are you going to gain a bunch of fat and lose all your muscle? Logically, no. We know physiologically that's not possible. And because of that, it is so easy to just say, okay, you're right. You have been training hard for 10 years and going balls to the wall. Maybe it is time to take it easy. The issue with that, if we do start to agree with that inner voice, that inner bitch inside of us, telling us to take the easy way out, that voice gets louder and louder to the point where it becomes a lot easier to say yes in those moments. You know, maybe just this one time I'll skip the gym. Maybe just this one time I'll go home because I'm not feeling it today. Well, it's that one time where it becomes a lot easier for those times to accumulate. And that mindset, that strength, that resilience that we've all created up here, that mental strength that we've created, that is where the progress is lost. So yeah, you know what? Physiologically, from an aesthetic standpoint, skipping the gym, going home one day, it's not the end of the world. That's a matter of fact. But mentally, up here, that's where the progress is lost. And it was a beautiful moment where it just like snapped me out of it after having this conversation with that individual. And I was able to finish my workout. Yeah, you know what? Maybe not the greatest workout, but I still got the job done. And it's an amazing accomplishment when you can come home and you feel like you actually accomplished something, even if you don't know where that target is right now. I'll find it eventually. And I get the whole saying where, you know what, you need to have a target in front of you. I get that. Having that clear vision of where I am going would have probably allowed me to avoid those emotions today. So if you're going through that where you're constantly hearing that voice and it is loud, it is screaming at you, yeah, having a clear vision of where you're going so you know where you're throwing those darts, you have a clear idea of where your target is, that's probably your best course of action to be able to quiet that voice. That's something that I have experienced and why in the past I probably don't hear that voice a whole heck of a lot, but for the first time in my life, I don't know where I'm going with my fitness related goals. And it was a moment of weakness where that voice almost won. And even if I don't know where that vision is right now, I don't have that target in mind, you know, it was a good thing to experience because I understand now that I'll find that path again. I'll find that target again. I don't know where it is right now. That's something for me to figure out. If you don't know where your target is right now, don't let that voice win, making you question everything, saying, what's the point to all of this if you don't know where you are going, and making you think that you don't need to be here right now. Because it gets a lot easier to just agree with that voice in your head. Just because you don't know where you're going right now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to find your way again. And along that journey, when you do find your way again, you do not want that voice getting louder and louder because it'll be even more challenging to find that way again. So don't let that voice win.